Miss Gia.
And I'm Miss G.
And welcome back to our vlog,
Mom Lives Matter.
So before we jump into today's topic, we are going to announce the winners of last week's challenge.
Yes.
The Mom Lives Matter challenge.
Yay!
Alright, so Miss G is going to introduce the first winner. Who
Yes,
is it?
I
Who is
am.
it?
The first winner is Brandy Ladner from Saucier, Mississippi.
Woo!
Brandy has a 19-year-old, 17-year-old, 16-year-old, and 15-year-old, which is very close to my children's age group.
Way to go, Brandy!
Yes, Brandy!
Yep.
So the next winner is going to be
Aurea Isabel Jimenez. Woo! She has a 20-year-old male, 19-year-old female, 18-year-old male, 16-year-old male, and a 13-year-old female.
and she is from Plant City, Florida.
Yes, ma'am. Go Izzy!
Woo! All right, so these two ladies will be receiving either a Mom Lives Matter mug or t-shirt, whatever your choice is.
Yes.
You can inbox us and let us know which one you prefer, the mug or the personalized t-shirt.
Yes.
So congratulations.
Yes, ma'am. So congratulations to Aurea Isabel Jimenez and
Brandy Ladner from Saucier, Mississippi.
All right. And for today's topic, it is going to be...
At what age should you start disciplining your child? We asked that question a couple of vlogs ago, and we had 89 comments on that question. And we're definitely about to talk about some of those comments.
Concerned.
Yeah, we some concerned parents. We know where you guys are. We can see your Facebook. So we know where you are. So some of these with these 2-month-olds that's sitting in timeout, I don't know how y'all doing it. I don't know how y'all doing it. I don't know how you put a 2-month-old in timeout.
I think the 2-month-old is kind of too young. But,
yeah, they just straight out of birth, just straight out, push, get in timeout.
Yeah.
Like, no.
2 months into
I
the
know what's
world.
going on with y'all parents out there.
Yeah. All right, so let's jump in. Miss G, at what age did you start disciplining your children?
I don't discipline my kids. But
Well, there's different ways of discipline. It doesn't always have to be physical.
yes.
So, at what age did you discipline, or did you start disciplining your kids?
I actually started disciplining my kids when they were able to say no, or when they were able to understand no, the word no. Before that, and then like discipline when they're that young, when they're just starting to say no, it's a simple, pop on the hand, or little pop in a little tap in the mouth, something to like kind of redirect that no. Physically, I've never disciplined my kids. Like I don't spank. That
You've never popped your kids in the legs or spank in the butt? No.
Only because, and I know y'all gonna have something to say about it, whatever. But I've always felt like, and even when I was young, I would get this discipline to a certain extent. My mom would take stuff from me, but I've always seen other people get disciplined or discipline their child, and then their child starts screaming and crying. And that's one thing I can't say. I hate crying. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay, you just disciplined the child because they were doing something that they didn't have any business doing, which I understand. But then you just made the situation worse because you already yelling at them, and now they're yelling because they're crying, and then you're telling them to shut up or I'm going to give you something to cry about, but they're already crying about what you spanked them for in the first place. So it's like, what do you mean? What do you mean by shut up or I'm going to give you something to cry about? Why did you discipline them in the first place? Weren't you giving them something to cry about because they messed up? So like, I don't understand that. So that's why I'm like, I never did the physical discipline because first of all, you're wearing me out and I don't exercise.
Yeah.
So constantly doing this is not helping me. It's not helping me. Number 2, I don't like crying, like I said. And number 3, my kids know, don't test my buttons. Because when you push the buttons, all I have to do is give you the look, and then I'm starting to take everything that you got.
Okay.
You know, so that's how I discipline my kids. I've never been a physical discipline. I've had to do it one time. One time I had to physical discipline, and it's like I felt like my heart got ripped out of my body.
Wow.
But other than that, I no, I don't believe in the belt. I don't believe in, you know.
And there are a lot of parents out there though who.
I think it's because the way I was raised. I wasn't raised, you know, with a belt. I was raised with punishment. So, you know, getting put in timeout or getting stuff taken away. I can't go anywhere. I lose my freedom. You know, I was never disciplined with a belt.
Oh, yeah. See, this is where me and you
Yeah.
have two totally different views about
that. Slave mentality.
And I guess, no. No.
Like,
and I guess it's the way we were raised, too.
Mm-hmm.
See, I was raised, growing up, of course, I've had to experience the belt, the chancleta, the broom, the hangers. I've had to. So my parents didn't play. First of all, my childhood was kind of. Now looking back, it's kind of confusing. You know, I was in the foster care system, and you know, I jumped from foster family to foster family. So it was every family was different the way they discipline us. But and then. When I was 12 years old, of course, I started living with my grandmother. And she's old school. Okay. So I had a different upbringing. I did get the belt. I did get ass whoopings. I did get all that. So when I had my kids, for me, that was, at the time, that was the only method of disciplining. So, of course, I did with my kids what was done to me.
Right. That's what most parents do.
You know, I disciplined them. I started at around 2 years old. Around 2, I did start with my daughter. I did spank her in her legs and her butt and told her she couldn't do, you know, certain things and whatever. That's, you know, when I saw that she started knowing the difference of, like you said, the no word. And so that's when I started. And I did that with all my kids. Now, throughout the years, my method of disciplining changed. And I also felt at one point, just like you, like, I don't want to keep hitting them. It's too much time, energy that I don't have. I don't want it. I don't want to sit there and say, okay, I'm going to hit you, grab a belt and hit them. And then, you know, they cry more. And then I'd be like, oh, it's like, I'm out of breath. I'm out of energy. I'm out of, you know, so it's.
And then they go do the same thing all over again.
And then they do the same thing all over again.
They do the same thing that you just disciplined.
So I did, at the beginning, I did, and actually, my oldest daughter, was the one who experienced more of that. And then the little ones, they also got disciplined physically, but then I stopped. I did stop. And because, like I said, I found more ways to discipline them. You know, the internet is such a wonderful place. You start reading up, start signing up for mom blogs and all that stuff. I was that type. And that's when I learned, like, okay, there's other ways. There's like, you know, put them in the corner, take everything away from them.
Encyclopedias. Like that's how I did my kids. They used to have to stand and hold encyclopedias.
Oh, wow. Depending
on their age. Like my son was the oldest, so he had 2 on his hand, 2 on that hand, arms straight out. So as their ages went down, then they had less to carry. I think Michaela had like a Dr. Seuss book that she had to hold, you know, because she was younger. And then Mason, he had like a little magazine. But yeah, they would all have to stand. I know my mom used to punish us. Like if we didn't, you know how like when you try to put your kids to sleep, tell the kids to go to bed, and they don't go to bed. They want to sit up and play. My mom used to make us get up out the bed because we didn't want to go to bed. And come down in her room and watch her sleep. And we would be like, we want to go to bed. We want to go back upstairs. Let us go back to bed.
Oh,
my mom would be knocked out. And we would try to creep off. And for some reason, she would wake up. As soon as we tried to sneak off.
So weird.
Yeah. She would make us come because we didn't want to go to sleep. So she was like, okay, come watch me sleep then. And that's boring. You don't want to sit there and watch your parents sleep.
You know what I do now in this day and age? If I see they don't go to sleep, I turn off the internet.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
That's what kids are into now.
Yeah.
That's what you have to take away.
Or you gotta take the electronics away. Yeah.
That's what you have to take. Even if you don't take away the electronics, even if you like let them keep them, they still find ways to like play games and all that stuff. No, shut off the internet. Internet, no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That's like a lifeline for them.
But then if they have phones that have service, doesn't really make any difference because they still. That's why you just take the electronics out the room. My son had an addiction to video games where I had to take the controllers and take them out of his room, and then he found a way to play that same game on his phone.
On the phone, they do that.
What the heck?
They do that.
You know what? Let me just empty the room out. That way, all you have is 4 walls and a bed. Go to sleep. Because then in the morning, they don't want to go to school.
Okay. So here's the thing. When I discipline my 13 and 12-year-old and I take away the electronics and I say, okay, you're not getting this for a week or a few days or whatever, I feel bad. Because I don't like for my kids to be out there in school or wherever it is that they're at without a phone. I think a cell phone, for me, just my opinion, I think it's a necessity. Even though the kids take it, to play games and the YouTube and this, that, and the third, it's such a necessity. I'd be scared when my kids go out to school and they don't have a phone that they can connect with, with me. There's so many things happening out there. So that's why sometimes I cut my, the disciplining, like the punishment with my kids, I cut them short. Because I don't like it. Yeah, and I feel sometimes like it's not benefiting them, but at the same time, it is. God forbid something was to happen and they don't have a phone and contact me. I just get all type of worried.
Well, I can understand that, like having a phone, while they're in school. But like if you ground them, and I do that too. Your kids probably stay grounded longer than mine because I punish mine, and within the next 10 minutes they offer punishment because I can't deal with it. So, but it's like, you can provide them with, if you take electronic device, you can give them the electronic device back, for school, and then when they come back in, then hand it back over, because once they're home, but I understand not having it at school. Another question is, does discipline really change the child?
Nope. I'm sorry, I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't either. Because some people you spare the rod, you spoil the child. Some children are just spoiled. Point blank, period. At the same time, sometimes you could discipline a child till they black and blue all over and they're still going to do what they want to do. So that's another reason why I don't really believe in physical discipline, because what is it getting you besides a tough child or a child that can withstand a beating? I didn't physically discipline any of my kids, but my 2 older kids are completely different from my 2 younger kids. My 2 older kids, they left home at an early age. They left, my son left at 16, my daughter left at 14, and now they're completely out of whack. My 2 youngest kids didn't get disciplined physically, but they, my son has a 3.5 GPA. He's into everything that you could possibly be into. And my daughter, she has some issues, but at the same time, I don't have behavior problems with her, and they're both at home. My daughter's about to graduate, so, and they all got disciplined the same way. They all got disciplined without the physical discipline. So I don't think that physically disciplining your child will make your child any better or any worse when they get older.
Yeah, for example, in my case, I've disciplined my oldest daughter more than I've done my little ones. And guess what? It really made no difference. She's, she's 17, she's out the house, she's on her own, she's independent, she's working, she has her own place. And I disciplined her, and she still did whatever she wanted to do. And then, I physically disciplined her because that was just my method. And then now for the little ones, when I discipline them, when I try, because I have tried still, spanking them even though they're 13 and 12, but, I've noticed that it's It's really no different. Let me
Yeah.
now I just speak to them.
Yeah,
I
because
just
when they
speak to
get of
them.
a
It's
certain
so
age,
much
that physical
time,
discipline
like,
just don't work
it doesn't
no more.
work, and it doesn't matter how much you try to beat something out of them. No, that's just who they are.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion.
And I feel like you get way more across when you explain. Because a lot of people say that you don't owe a child an explanation. But I feel like if you tell them why they disappointed you and then you put the punishment, it makes them think. Yeah. If they love you, it makes them think, okay, I understand why I'm grounded, because when they get older and they get out into the real world, yeah, life is going to beat them up, but life is not going to physically discipline them. Life is going to teach them things that they have to learn from. And I feel like disciplining inside the home should be the same way. You're teaching your child, so that they won't make the same mistake again. And if you just physically spank them, yeah, it's going to hurt, but then they move on. If you have a strong-willed child, yeah, the discipline is going to hurt for a moment, but they're going to move on and they're going to do it again.
Move on. Yeah, it's a funny thing. I remember one time when I was disciplining my daughter. She was about 15, and she said something smart to me, and I just lost it, and she told me, "Mom, it doesn't matter how much you hit me, I'm still going to be me." And then at that time, it clicked. I was like, "Oh my gosh,
you're right.
You know what?
Yeah.
She's so right.
She's right.
so right. No matter how much we sit there and we try to discipline them, and with the belt and just whoop them, it's not. It's not gonna make no difference.
That's why I said I feel like if you talk to your child from the beginning. Like, I could talk to my kids, and they're older, they're teens. Teens gonna have their own mindset of
especially
what is right,
teens. Yes.
of what is right, and what is wrong. And they're gonna swear to God that we've never been on this earth before. We just came straight here as adults.
Yes.
We don't know anything about being a teenager.
Anything.
So, but when you do have that communication with your child. It eliminates having to have to do all that physical disciplining because they already know from point A, like, okay, my mom went through this before, my dad went through this before. I'm going to go to my mom for advice.
Yes.
I'm gonna, it makes the discipline a lot easier. When you have an open relationship with your child, it makes the discipline a lot easier also because they're not ready to sneak out and do things that that they don't have any business doing. They know that they can come to you and say, hey, is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do that? And if you have your opinion of no, you can't do it, then you do owe an explanation of why. Not it's just because I said so. Explain to them why they can't do it so they'll understand. No, I don't want you to go to the party because the last party that you wanted to try to go to, somebody got shot up. Yeah. I'm not feeling comfortable. So no, don't go.
And that's true. Back in the day, the way I was raised, to, we're Hispanic, and we're, most of my family members, like the older ones, they're really old fashioned. They just believe in, just beat her up and let her know, and no. So I learned a lot. I've come a long way from, I guess, the history of my family of how they do things with their children, because I've seen it throughout my whole family. I've seen my aunt to beat her kids up when they were teens. I've seen the constant physical discipline, and my grandmother used to grab whatever she saw and used to just hit us with it. Like I said, I got hit with a broom, with a bell, with a hanger, with a chancleta, with a cord.
I've heard of that before. Like for us, it was not me, but for African Americans, most of the time it's the switch, a piece of tree. Who goes out and gets a piece of tree to hit a child with?
Oh, my dad, I remember when I was 4 years old, my dad, he pulled the switch, took all the leaves out of that.
Oh my God.
And I was around 4 years old, and I started expanding and finding ways to try to speak to my children, because it was hard. When my daughter, it was so hard. She was really strong. Like, she had a strong character. She wanted to do whatever she wanted to do, no matter what I said. So it was hard for me. I was literally overwhelmed, and I came to a point where I would cry all the time, like, Jesus, why? I am hitting her, I'm disciplining her, and she's still doing the same thing. And that's when I finally realized, like, hey, I have to do something different. There's gotta be a different way. And so
let her go.
Yeah, that's one of the ways.
Yep,
just let them be.
Mm-hmm.
Let them be and speak to them.
Sometimes kids and young adults are going through things that we don't even realize that they're going through because we don't take the time to sit and try to talk to them and find out why they're acting out. And we just react and just want to start beating them because they've embarrassed us or because they've acted out and the school has called, but we don't know why they did it. Even though, there's no reason why a child should be acting out, but we don't know what they're going through. Yes. We don't know what they're dealing with. They may be trying to, deal with something on their own and don't want to say something and it's not working out right and they're frustrated with themselves and they're taking it out on everybody else around them. You don't know what they're going through until you talk to them.
There's always a reason why something is going on. Speak to your children.
Unless you just got some children.
Yeah, that too. But speak to your
kids.
To your children. But that's so that's the importance of it. Just speak to your child. That's like the best discipline there is. Speaking, just boring them with words.
Yep.
If not
lectures. Kids hate lectures. Yeah. That's a punishment right there. Kids hate lectures.
Or just take away their device or turn off the Wi-Fi. Very beneficial.
If you have don't think we're one of them kind of parents. Now, if you have an unruly child that just won't beat them.
Yeah.
No, not really. But I mean, if you are one of those parents that believe in physical discipline, hey, to each his own. This is only our opinion.
We're not saying it's bad. It's not bad because I've done it, and I still do it once in a while.
But you can't try other methods. Other methods. If disciplining your child physically is working for you, then hey, power to you. It just didn't work for us. Yeah. So one of the comments that was underneath the question of what age should you discipline your child was that their child this person said that their child is 4 months old and that the way that they discipline their child is placing them in timeout.
A 4-month-old.
How do you put a 4-month-old in timeout?
I don't understand it.
That's what I don't understand. Some of these ages, 9 months, I can understand to a certain extent depending on the level of understanding that the child has, because I've seen some 9-month-olds that, they know what no means. They understand that. But 4 months, you barely know how to move. Like you can barely crawl. You can barely sit up. Like, how do you put a 4-month-old in timeout?
That's a good question.
That's something that I just didn't understand. But most parents that commented, they said between 9 months to a year. They said a year to 2 years.
2 years.
A lot of parents said as soon as they understand no. Which I agree with. As soon as your child can understand no, or they can tell it's time to start disciplining, because they understand that word no means that they can't do something. So if they tell you no, then they're understanding that they're saying no to you because they don't want you to do something. So that's an understanding, and that means that
that's true.
You need to start tapping that booty or tapping that diaper.
Yeah, the diaper. No, so now we are going to introduce the next topic for our next vlog, which is...
Our next topic is going to be private school versus homeschool versus public school versus charter school. All these school selections we have out here, which one is best? Which one do you think is best for your child, or which one do you think is best in general?
The cheapest.
Yeah, the cheapest will be public school, of course.
If you don't have the money, of course, we're stuck with public school.
Yeah,
that sucks.
We are going to discuss what the differences between all these schools and what the benefits are of them and what the downfalls are of them, because some of them do have downfalls.
Yeah, they do.
And so that is what the next topic is going to be. And we appreciate you guys tuning in today.
Yep. And thank you for joining us. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Instagram and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Don't forget.
We have 20 subscribers and
We need more.
376 friends.
Yes.
So I'm trying to understand if y'all just trying to be nosy or if y'all really want to be part of the page. Because I don't understand how we have 300 and something friends on our Mom Lives Matter page, but we only have 20 subscribers. Are y'all like just being...
She's serious too.
Yeah, I am. I'm really serious. Y'all just being nosy so that y'all can share our stuff on other pages? Or do y'all really, are y'all really liking our vlogs? Because 20 subscribers, I don't know what y'all watching, but
they're gonna keep coming up. They're gonna keep coming up.
Yeah, they're gonna keep coming up now after I've said that we have 300 and something friends, people. I'm gonna need those 300 and something friends to go on over to our YouTube channel where you watch the vlog and go ahead and subscribe.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for watching us.
Subscribe.
And remember to like us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at momlivesmatter.com. At Mom Lives Matter at YouTube. You messed me up. Bye. My 13-year-old and my 12-year-old. Okay. I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. So before
My bad. The comments.
Yeah. Oh shit. Kayla. Hi, how can I help you?
Hello?
Hi, how can I help you?
Yes.
Yes, she is. Hold on a minute.
I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened. I lost my co-host. I don't know how you gonna come back from that. Because you're gonna spend the entire time laughing.
I'm sorry.
I don't know
Why
what
did
just...
you both like
I was like, why did she jump up? I thought it was because the person was blowing outside. I'm like, what just happened?
You got another thing?
I caught a crap. I caught a fucking crap.
I thought she was about to go discipline somebody right quick. You jumped up quick.